You are no dummy, but you're kind of acting like one. You used to crush it in school, outsmarting opponents on the field, and now, well, you're still smart, but not exactly challenging yourself. You could be advancing nuclear engineering in the world's most powerful navy. You were born for it, so make the smart choice. You can be smart, or you can be nuke smart. Become a nuclear engineer at Navy.com/nukesmart. America's Navy, forged by the sea.
Can we deduct our kids' tuba lessons?
Asking your H&R Block Tax Pro online right now. Their live expert help doesn't cost extra.
That'll make doing our taxes so easy.
They even have a 24/7 AI tax assist, so we can get help whenever we need it.
Wish they did tuba lessons, too.
Do your own taxes online with H&R Block and get unlimited expert help at no additional cost. Expert help is included with all paid H&R Block online products.
We need a snappy name.
Steve and Kyle talking murder.
Oh, I got one.
Oh.
Because we're always talking about more and more murders.
Yeah.
Mortar.
And we'll put both of those into the file.
That's good.
I'm giving it the same treatment I'm giving my own.
That's almost as good as Sports Tate.
Steve, the world is full of mystery, and all we need to do is provide the history.
They don't have the experience that ARCS does. ARCs, as we call them here in the discussion den.
Certainly.
So we're breaking the matchups.
There's committee rooms, and there's... It's like we're on the Reading Rainbow. We have the discussion den.
Looking forward to seeing how ARCs did.
ARCS, that's the Acid Reflux Correspondence School, a entrant into the Throaty 2, the National Throat Goblin Tournament, in its second year running, Steve.
Yes.
Second year. And boy, oh boy, was the internet up in arms this week.
Were they?
The matchups. A lot of debate. Speaking of the discussion den, a lot of issues with the seedings, I've noticed.
You know, the seating committee met for what, probably 2 weeks straight. They were locked in a room.
Well, they weren't locked in any room, Steve. They were locked in the discussion den.
Discussion den. Trying to come up with the seedings, the matchups.
Coincidentally, is where all third graders go to resolve conflict.
The discussion den?
The discussion den.
Yeah, well. It's it's a useful tool.
I could see by the time our children are in grade school, that's the way. I don't know about you. When I was in like fourth grade, I only did it because at the end of the year, we ended up getting like a day at the pool in town and like the track and field place. But I was a conflict manager.
Really?
So like one
that
day
is the most surprising thing I've ever heard.
But it was
because typically you're a conflict instigator.
Well, that is not 100%
I don't know.
true.
I'm on the Watchdog page. Somebody may post like, "Hey, does anyone know how the traffic is?" And
yeah, because it's a dumb question, Steve.
Well, just as an example, but you could just ignore it. But typically, you reply with something along the lines of "Go F yourself."
It's not that forward. I had one, I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago, where somebody posted this weird stream of consciousness about how my husband and I just laugh. Everybody's in the left lane at a stoplight. Why isn't anybody? It's a terrible. It's worse than Jerry Seinfeld routine, and it's this nonsense about how she doesn't get why people aren't at a stoplight in the right lane and too many people are in the left lane. Like, imagine your life, Steve. We were just talking before we started this podcast about how you were out too late, past the witching hour. You're in your late 30s, and that's irresponsible.
Yeah,
imagine the age where you and Annette are driving along the 2-laner or the 4-laner with a median in the middle, and you come up to a stop line and you guys just you give her a little tap on the arm and you're laughing.
Hey, check it out. Everyone's in the left lane again.
Again, you guys just get like that gives you joy.
Yeah.
Imagine how old and how different you have to be to get joy from that. And
I'll be honest, I look forward to the simpler times. I mean, a lot of people look back to the simpler times, but I think that the simpler times are ahead of us.
You're looking forward
as our brain starts to turn to mush.
Yeah.
After 60, 70, 80 some years on this planet, we start getting sheer joy out of like watching a squirrel walk around or cars in the left lane.
I could see you being like a guy who sits in your backyard with binoculars looking for birds. Like, you don't want to go too far.
Yeah, I'm not much into birding, but
squirreling?
Squirreling, yeah.
Like,
maybe, chipmunking.
Oh, that's a black-tailed Midwestern.
We have I've never seen so many jet black squirrels as we have
really
in our backyard.
I mean, no disrespect. Are you sure they're not skunks?
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah.
I just want to be sure.
Yeah. I mean, because they're black with the white stripe. Squirrels.
Yeah. The big white stripe.
They smell kind of weird sometimes. Yeah. Squirrels.
But you've got that jungle out back that's mixed with deck wood, leftover electronics from a bygone era.
I swear, Toby's new favorite thing when we let him out in the backyard, he always he loves carrying sticks around.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon for us to look out in the backyard and him and Lola are chasing each other around and Toby's got like a 9-foot-long stick in his mouth. So everything he runs near, he gets clipped.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But since the snow has melted, he brings back something every time he comes in the house. For a while, it was flower pots. We don't know where he's getting them. But yesterday he brought back the cap, the white cap that goes on like a fence post. The white 4x4 PVC posts.
Certainly.
And then they have those little decorative caps that you put on top of them. He found one of them. I don't know where.
Wow.
So I'm assuming that I know that there's stuff under the deck because I've peeked under there before.
That's maybe where he's looking.
And I see I think that these people just seriously took all their garbage and threw it under the deck.
Well, we talked about last week, and boy, we are digressing way early now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this all started with you being
an instigator on the Facebook.
Yeah, but what was your title in elementary school?
The conflict manager. And I promise you, there's no chance we'll forget to come back to those.
So Kyle, the conflict manager.
But we talked last week about starting our mortar podcast, and that's obviously about more murder because there's.
Boy, when you put it that way, exactly the way I put it. It sure sounds dumb.
Maybe we need to do a deep dive on your backyard. Because if you're seeing flower pots, deck wood, soon to be an old shed back there, the remnants of
one. I'm telling you, man. Hey, there we go. You know something? No. Don't even do it.
Come on.
I'm annoyed at this whole contest. It was too much work for not enough payoff, and we're not doing it next year.
Come on, the new season started, Steve.
There is some there are some things happening in the realm of new shed going up in the yard.
Okay, first of all, I almost need you to start a list because now we need to go back and tie the loose ends before we get now to the yard. So we started.
You're a conflict manager.
Me being a conflict manager.
Dumb.
So let's go
Move
back
on.
to the. Okay, done. Send aside.
No. So back when you were a conflict manager.
Yeah. 4th grade.
All right. So in 4th grade, say little Timmy and little Susie got in a fight on the playground over whose turn it was on the swings.
Yeah, Timmy's decking her.
Does a teacher intervene and say, whoa, it's time to bring in the conflict manager?
Now, Steve,
or is that just silly?
We were the police, okay? So we handled it ourselves. We didn't have to bring the teachers into it unless obviously things escalated.
Right.
We'd go over there with our orange vests on.
This is legitimate.
Absolutely. And my clipboard. I had a clipboard.
Oh, really? What was...
I had a checklist. and I had to determine
Okay.
what started the conflict.
Oh, boy.
You know, what was the root, obviously. What was the actual conflict, like what happened, and how do we resolve it? I don't remember if I ever resolved one. Because when I'm in fourth grade.
So, like, punches are throwing.
Yeah.
And you're, wait a minute. Who said this first?
Jonathan, stop hitting her in the eye. I'm trying to fill out my checklist. So
Don't throw mud at my vest.
I have to pay for this.
Did you have a badge?
No, but it had, like, they had printed on the back, conflict manager. Yeah, I think it was conflict
So it didn't
man-
have, like, your last name and a number?
Oh, God, no.
It wasn't,
the first
it wasn't
line.
a jersey?
No, because I got fired.
There we go. Now things are starting to sound a little more familiar.
Fourth grade Kyle got fired from being a conflict manager.
For starting conflict?
No, what happened was I got found out pretty easily that me and a couple of friends joined only because once every month or two you got a pizza party. So I was showing up to
All right.
those, and then I was consistently skipping my shifts.
Oh, no.
You had to miss out on recess, Steve,
To be the conflict
to
manager.
be a conflict manager. Now,
Yeah,
granted,
but how often do you have to miss recess?
Oh, I don't know. Let's just say once every 2 weeks sounds about accurate.
Boy, that's
right?
worth a pizza party to me, I think.
Yeah, but if it's like 2 a year and I already got one of them, I gotta be
Yeah.
honest with you, I'm on the downhill there.
Yeah, it's true.
So I got
True.
fired from being a conflict manager, and I threw a big hubbub about it. Didn't get invited back to join the field trip thing at the end of the year.
Oh, there was a conflict manager field trip?
Well, yeah, that's the main reason to join. Is like I said, that you get to go to, I think it was the high school, but they, the pool and the track and the basketball
I
courts,
gotcha.
like essentially a field day. And I didn't get invited back to go to that, and it was a big deal.
Boy, that must have been rough.
It was a big deal. I remember those pizza parties like it was yesterday, though, Steve. They're trying to teach us ways to resolve conflicts, and my biggest concern was what all of the 2 liters of pop tasted like mixed together.
Oh, you were that kid. You were a mixer?
Yeah, me and my two weirdo friends, we called it like Project X, and we just mixed 18 sodas in. Yeah, that's not that bad. No, it's fine.
It tastes like sludge.
This is really good. Like Pepsi, Mountain Dew, orange, raspberry tea, fruit punch, and cola. This tastes great. This is really good.
Your ears are bleeding, but you're like, no, pretty good. I like it.
Because at that point, you're convinced. I found it. I found that this could be the next big thing. So
Yeah, as if you would be able to. Like, that's how dumb you are when you're a kid. As if you would think that you were going to start your own company to make this own drink, but they would just say, yeah, go ahead. Use Pepsi as an ingredient.
To mix this, hey, Bob, it's another day to produce. Need you to go to the local store and buy about 6 pallets of Pepsi and bring it back. We'll just dump it into the vat.
Yeah. The overhead might be a bit high for that, considering each one can of soda has 9 other varieties of soda in it.
Well, I'm not fiscally irresponsible either, Steve. I'm obviously buying 2 liters when
Of
I
course,
produce this. So
Yeah,
obviously
silly me.
lowering the overhead a little bit. So yeah, I was fired from being a conflict manager, but I do not
Least
instigate.
surprising thing ever.
So now that end is tied. Back to when the most recent Facebook post was somebody complaining
I did see that
about the people in the left lane, and I think my own
No! Don't misquote that. They were not complaining. They were
laughing.
they were tickled pink with how adorable it was.
There was uproarious laughter between this woman and her husband about being stopped at a stoplight in the left lane.
Now, look, I know that everybody has their own senses of humor range wildly.
Yeah.
But I don't want to live in a world where someone finds people lined up in the left lane hilarious, because it's not.
Imagine going to a party with those people. What's the big hit of the night?
It's got to be because I don't know. Give me an old man name, Herman. It's got to be because Herman put on mismatched socks.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Or they he didn't sweep his chimney.
What a loser.
Can you imagine this guy? And then that's the people who you'll see a Facebook post 8 months later, hey Herman, ever get around to that chimney?
Whoa.
LOL. I think I'd rather die. I really do, Steve. I think I'd rather die. So my only post on that was saying, and I happened to be the first comment, which is always,
Of course, yeah.
it's an added thing
well,
for
I mean,
me.
you're like a mountain lion. You're just waiting to attack.
Well, if you jump in late, one, you're not going to get the glory.
Gets buried.
You're getting buried, and 80% of the people aren't going to dig through 20 comments of people actually answering this person, or now apparently talking traffic with this lady. So you get in early, and that way you get the most visibility. And in this case, I take the passive approach, and I simply said,
The passive approach, you say.
yeah. I said, this was a valuable post. And this lady...
Passive, you say.
That's very passive. How is that not passive? There's not even aggressive in that, is there? Is that passive-aggressive, or is that passive?
I don't know. I feel as though it's aggressive.
Boy, oh boy. Now I feel like that's not aggressive, Steve, and I...
No, it's
Now
bad. But it's textbook Midwestern passive-aggressive.
I think I'm going to have to put that on the poll, because now I want to know how that's interpreted outside of, obviously, this studio.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, within the confines of this studio, you basically punched that person in the nose.
Well,
But to the 70-year-old reading it, they probably thought, oh, I'm being helpful.
Listen, I've had somebody on that page tell me to leave their mother alone. Okay, that's where it's been on that page. When I throw my hands in the air, I go, I didn't even do anything. So there's a good chance that this is more aggressive than passive, but I would like to know. So that'll be the poll this week at Steve and Kyle on Twitter, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. But I don't know. But the problem is that this lady, who's obviously oblivious to the world around her, because she's so consumed with this idea of cars on the left side of her, that she goes, so I'm not the only one, right? And it was like this post thinking that I was agreeing with her. So you're right that they're obviously not understanding what I'm getting at, which is me trying to subtly tell them you're dumb and this is a waste of your time and everybody else's.
So that's the conflict manager in you coming out to solve the problem.
So I didn't solve the problem in this case, so I would not get a check mark on that
on the clipboard.
Portion of the clipboard. Yeah. So I couldn't do it.
Do you have your vest still?
Oh, God. I got fired.
And they took it back, huh?
They let me keep the fancy... it was yellow because... I don't know if you guys had safeties.
Oh, the safety patrol, yeah.
The safety...
Our safety patrols had like a sash. It was...
That's what ours was,
too. It was a yellow belt, but then it went like across your chest like a beauty pageant vest or a beauty pageant sash, and it had a little gold like badge on it.
Well, we don't have East Coast money over here, Steve.
Yeah, solid gold.
That's 12 karat. It was the orange sash, but to keep it different, my vest, I apologize for the discrepancy. My vest may have been yellow.
Oh, boy.
Because they didn't want any, people thinking, let's go talk to the safety.
Yeah, they didn't want
who gets us across the busy intersection.
They didn't want people to think that you were some safety scum.
Yeah, and plus
you were a conflict manager.
Yeah, and plus safeties are exclusively sixth graders. Everybody knows that.
See, we had safeties back in because my elementary school was kindergarten through fourth. We had safeties. Like you could be a safety in fourth grade.
How old's fourth grade? Is that 8?
I think so.
I'm sorry. I don't want an 8-year-old telling, in my scenario now, telling my son, like down the road, when it's okay to cross a busy intersection.
But the thing is, looking back on it, there was no point for safeties because
they had crossing guards.
They had crossing guards, but the way that my elementary school was set up, we were probably 200 to 300 yards off of the road. Like there was a long driveway into the school.
Right.
And you came in the driveway. And then you got into the parking lot, and the buses would come in, and they'd go down to one end, they would loop around, and then they would line up like the bus line.
Yeah.
And along that sidewalk where all the buses lined up, there was a bright yellow line right down the middle of it. So if you were walking to your bus, you stayed on the right-hand side of that until you got to your bus, and then you were allowed to cross the yellow line to get onto your bus. That was the most dangerous thing, and there were like 15 safeties. Like they'd have a safety placed in front of each bus. So like, I'm getting on bus 2. Okay, come down here and then you can cross.
This is the bus.
There was no danger. There was nothing happening.
Is it just like a route to give responsibility to young people to make them understand responsibility? Is that what it is?
I would assume so.
Because now here I am sitting afraid that an 8-year-old's going to be too busy worried about picking blades of grass, while my 6-year-old son in his infinite wisdom is going to be just hopscotching across the intersection here at a major road.
Now, do you hope that Reed follows in your footsteps and becomes a conflict manager, just like his pop?
There was look back at the family legacy as we pass generation to generation of conflict managers and conflict resolution.
He also wants to be an end of the driveway warrior. Or would you encourage him to go into the mail carrying industry?
Yes, but right off the bat, because
to get him in young, when he's maybe when he turns 17.
Oh yeah, get him in.
it'd be great
working in the mail room itself.
He'd be retired by the time he was like 40.
Right, and it's the equivalent of going into the military without being in the military. You get a government pension after however many years, and all you've done is drive through 3 months of snow a year. That's the worst time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are a couple more differences between being a mailman and being in the military.
Well, being in the military is obviously much harder, and you're getting the same outcome, right? Like if you stay in 20 years?
Sure.
And if I deliver mail, I don't have to go to Afghanistan. So, yes, all things considered, if your options on the table are a packet that say, join us at the end of the driveway, and the other packet that says, join us skydiving into enemy territory, I'm going to push the end of the driveway packet towards them.
Is there a mailman recruiter out there who's like, hey, kid. But instead of it's Uncle Sam needs you or Uncle Sam wants you, it's like Uncle Mark. Uncle Mark wants you. As an end of the driveway warrior.
I don't want to talk out of line here, son, but I'm hearing rumors we might be getting moisture wicking uniforms in the next year. It all depends on the budget.
Mark hasn't gotten along with Sam in a long time. So I started this competing branch.
The eternal government feud. Uncle Sam and Uncle Mark. Soldiers versus mailmen. Male people, Steve. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Soldiers versus male people, mail delivery service people. Mm-hmm. End of the driveway warriors. Yeah, I would encourage him to tackle the end of the driveway problems rather than tackle a suicide bomber overseas. Yeah, I think I would.
All right, fair enough. Did we have anything else to?
Well, we were when we had to backtrack, and apologies because in hindsight. We digress. We were talking, Steve, about your affinity for what I think you're going to be a squirreler.
Okay.
Out in your backyard.
Yeah.
You're going to have your little pop-up chair.
I'm probably going to build some kind of little treehouse that they can all gather in that has feeders in it and everything.
Yep, squirrel food, but you're not going buying from the big box or you're going down to the squirrel store.
Yep.
Talking to Jim Bob.
Hey, Jim Bob, you got any squirrel feed?
Obviously owns and operates the squirrel store.
Yeah, that's what it's called, too.
Yeah, squirrel store.
The squirrel store.
So you're going to get your squirrel feed, and you're popping your chair out in the back with your big old binoculars.
Yep.
And you'll be watching in your little mini jungle because your claim is that this is supposed to be close to your forever home until you get put into a home.
Yeah, at least for the next year or two.
And listen, forever homes change. That's how those work.
Sure,
they're on a whim.
Yeah, forever's not forever.
Forever is until your first child's born. You realize, oh God, this isn't going to work.
This is not too many steps. Don't like it.
But I think you're going to be out there, watching animals. I could see you doing that.
I do have a hammock that I really like.
Yeah, but I don't want you. I think you'll understand it. You can't be falling asleep, Steve. You might miss the rare flying red squirrel or whatever you're hoping to see in your backyard.
The great summer migration,
right?
When they all fly south.
Yep, and they gather in the V, and they all sneak under the fence in that formation,
just run,
and then they're
run
gone.
to Mexico,
and it's. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sight to see, and it's like the first time that they were able to gather, cameras in the Antarctic and they saw penguins and the way they form and stuff.
Yeah.
But for you, it's your backyard. And
This is my jungle. It's my dojo out there.
It's the common squirrel. But we were also getting into how we need to investigate your backyard because, like you talked about, you're now seeing planters and vinyl post caps.
Yeah.
You removed a deck from there.
We removed a deck from behind the shed in the woods last summer.
I think you found electronics. I think you found a dishwasher.
We didn't know, no dishwasher, but
a car, like 2 tires.
I think that plans may be underway for a second dumpster to be dropped off at the house.
Oh, are you going to clear the woods out?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of... we lost a couple of small trees back there this winter.
Sure.
With all the ice and everything. And when we moved in, there were already like 3 or 4 trees that were down back there. So we need to get rid of them. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a dumpster, chop everything up with a chainsaw, bring it around front, put it in the dumpster, and have them haul it away.
Right.
Or I can rent one of those massive wood chippers,
Okay.
pull it into the backyard, and then just feed everything into it. Like I could feed the old shed through it.
Well, let's make a day of this, Steve, because you know who else needs a wood chipper this spring?
Who's that?
This guy.
Yeah? What do you got?
We're going to yank a tree
Oh!
from the front of our house. And by yank it, I mean we're cutting it down. The roots are way too deep under the house, so we're just going to cut it down, but we obviously need to get rid of it.
Okay.
And so we're thinking wood chipper.
Are you going to cut the tree down yourself?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not me, but yeah, there'll be other people there with me.
Like
I don't
who?
have a chainsaw. Probably my dad, maybe my stepdad, my brother.
So it's like all hands on deck.
Yeah, I don't really know how to do it.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Well,
I
you
get
just-
the
I
idea
mean,
you
you-
carve the angle into
No, you
one
just
side.
stand at the bottom, cut straight across,
Okay.
and then just, hope that the wind's blowing in the right direction.
I should have, like, Katie right behind it, like, holding it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Now, do you have
pushing?
do you have overhead power lines in your neighborhood?
No.
Oh, good.
No, we live in the 21st century, Steve.
It's good to hear. Reduces the risk of massive brownouts
Yep.
through the whole neighborhood.
Well, so I need a wood chipper.
Yeah.
And I need a stump grinder, which I've
Okay.
never used. I've never seen or used before.
Oh, those things are beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never used one, but I had a stump ground down at my old house, and it basically, it's like if they took a 5-foot in diameter saw blade and gave it handlebars and like a throttle,
Yeah.
and they just drive it into your yard, and then they turn it on and they just go like back and forth, like grounding it down.
Boy, the more I'm thinking about this, the more I'm considering cutting a check.
You should definitely hire someone.
It's not that big of a tree. I think the tree I'm talking about is the one in
I
the
can't
front of
picture
our.
it.
It's right in the front of our house. It's the only tree we have. It's not the massive one. It's in our front yard, in front of our bedroom window, Steve. And it's old and it's dying, and it's not very big. It would come down without an issue. There's no. I could probably pull it and make it really weak.
Like
right
how
now.
wide are you saying the diameter of it is?
6-8 inches.
Okay.
Tie a rope around her. Have one person, standing, pulling it, right?
Yeah, just tie the other end of your car.
Yeah, and then pull, right? You hit the road.
Just drag it right to the forest.
I don't think it's a bad idea, and then we'll go replant it
right.
in a forest down the way. But
yeah, I'm thinking you might want to hire this out.
nah, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm back in.
Let me know the day.
Yeah,
I'll coordinate the
the wood chipper.
Yeah, we'll
split the cost.
Split the cost of
Yeah.
a wood chipper. I actually have a buddy who might already be splitting the cost of the wood chipper with me. This wood chipper is going to cost us like $5 a
It's
piece.
a little too much travel in one day, though.
Well, no, because we get it for the 8-hour day.
Sure.
It's like $200 or something.
So we each get like a 3-hour,
We each
2.5 hour
yeah.
block.
But I mean, if you have one tree, it seems like it's going to take 5 minutes. Now, where do you want the wood chips thrown?
the road.
In the road, okay? All right. Yeah, done. That'll be easy.
Figure the rain comes, washes those things into the sewer. Done on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like recycling.
Yeah. You're welcome, environment. I'm here to help. So you're going to clean that out. Well, before you do that, we need to. I think there's got to be a body back there.
I would not be surprised.
Like maybe we do a live episode of our new murder podcast, Mortar, which is about more murder.
When you put it that way.
And we go just sift through the back, just kicking leaves, hoping to find a thumb, maybe a foot.
Yeah. It's
maybe a meaty midsection.
It's going to be an adventure back there. There's a lot of stuff. We're going to be putting up a new shed soon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Plans are underway.
Okay, not the pole barn. The pole barn is
pole barn
officially
is
on hiatus.
Back burner for 10 years.
Oh my God! How did that for you? That's got to be a bit because in your now, it's not essential for you, right? We can both agree on that, but it's something that you've wanted.
Yeah.
So
that was when we were looking for the house. That was like it wasn't at the top of the list, but it was like but if it has this, then
it wasn't like central air conditioning.
No.
But it was.
It would have been
it
would have been a nice bonus, and that would have if there had been a tie between two houses, that would have probably bumped it up.
What if the tie was with a house with a pool and a house with a shed?
Oh, no. Pool Steve is not
6 years away.
Yeah, is 6.5 years away. Then
you don't think if you go see a house, let's say not obviously not identical to this, but price and everything's the same, area you're okay with, and the only difference is it had a pool. Would you still go non-pool?
We looked at a house.
Oh, this is the one we drove
right around the corner from your house.
When we went bike riding.
No, different one.
Oh, was it really?
Different one. That one, the one that we went bike riding by had the pole building.
Oh, I thought that had a pool.
Had the pole building, no pool. But then there was one that was even closer to you guys. It was like you leave your house, you go like around out onto the other street, and it was right there.
Oh, okay.
Like we could have ridden bikes all day.
Oh my God.
Just riding back and forth.
Just think we could have had a crew.
That one had a nice pool, and that one, I forget what I liked it. Wanted to make an offer on it, but I was also I wanted to make an offer on every house we looked at.
Well, I think as a lot because you want it to be part of it. You want it to be done.
Yeah,
but I don't like.
But we made an offer.
You might be like me, where not that picky.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a few things that I wanted and that I liked, but once I saw the house that we now live in, I was like, hey, I don't think we're going to find better than this for what we want and, for where we're looking. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad we did, but I think you're maybe similar in that regard.
Yeah. Because I had, we really only walked through probably 6 or 7 houses, but looked through so many ads or so many of the MLS listing or whatever. So, I mean, I could usually tell within the first 3 or 4 pictures, nope. Don't want that. Don't care for that.
Let's say house. 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
House, call them nearly identical in your eyes. One with pool. One with large barn or whatever the size, large shed. You go shed?
Absolutely.
You think Annette's with you on that?
Yes. Okay. She doesn't want a pool.
Let's
Pool
go.
Annette is not pleased
Pool
about...
Annette is not on board with Pool Steve?
She is not pleased about Pool Steve. She does not want a pool at all.
Let's say similar.
We want to have friends that have a pool.
Right. Same you want to have friends that have a boat.
Exactly.
That's why I'm hoping you get a pool.
Yeah. I'm hoping you get a boat.
Can we come to some type of compromise?
So, I did something the other day that you are going to hate.
Oh, no.
Absolutely hate.
Now, when you say hate, is it going to be something that I just disapprove of, or is it going to be something that
no, you hate
I
it.
Look at you differently
You
for?
Are going to hate me for it.
Okay, let me get a big swig of water as I prepare myself here.
Chucky C. Jr., get your stomach settled. You all right? You ready?
All right, Steve, break the news to me. Right. What did you do?
So the other night, Annette and I went to a daycare open house.
Sure.
There's a new daycare opening in town. So we decided to go because we have to start looking for that stuff. Everyone says, you got to be out in front of this like a year in advance.
It's the dumbest thing about having children because what should be the furthest thing from your mind while pregnant and going through all this
is
taking care of yourself, getting things ready in the home. But what you have to be concerned about is not just after the baby's born, but usually 12 weeks after the baby's born. I need to know what's going to happen when I go to work. And
so right now,
stupid.
my wife's not even showing. You can't even, if you go upstairs and look, you would have no idea she's pregnant, but we were already planning for this child's future.
Absurd.
Who's going to take, because, if the baby's born when, on the due date, she will be, that's September 14th. She'll be off of work for 12 weeks, so you figure right around Christmas time, she's going to go back to work. Probably a little bit, assuming, so our line is January 1st, basically. Okay. She'll be going back to work. So we went to look at this daycare, brand new, opening up, not even open yet, opening up in a couple of weeks. And weren't really overly impressed with it.
Okay.
It was,
just size or
no, I mean, honestly, walking in there, I liked it because it reminded me of like an old schoolhouse. Okay. Like old wood floors and everything. Like the building itself was really cool, but obviously I can't base my decision on
architecture.
Like, my 2-week-old son or daughter isn't going to be like, oh, I love the corbels on the on the fireplace mantle.
Look at those sconces outside.
Yeah. So, but like, what I mean is, when I walked in there, I just had like that warm feeling. I'm like, this is nice. I like this. But after talking to some of the people there, I don't know. I didn't feel like they really had answers to the questions that we asked.
Oh no. What now? Obviously, you're a first time upcoming parent.
So we have no idea about it.
You have no idea. So, but
we don't know what to ask.
Yeah, but but you think of things, right? And
yes,
when we were going through it, we were thinking, how do we verify, who picks up, like, things like that,
right?
And how it's all separated.
It's all about safety.
Sure.
You're concerned with. For me, the big question was the people that work here, like the staff, the employees. What is their background? Like, are they? Like, oh, so-and-so is a former teacher, and this one was a nurse, and this one a midwife, and this one did this for this many years.
Right.
So I asked that, and I got a very strange answer about, like, what everyone's religion was, and I was like,
oh, no, well...
it didn't really mean that background, and look, the neighborhood that we're in, I know everyone's religion.
You can guess. Every one of these people goes to church on a weekly basis.
It wasn't it wasn't too crazy of me to assume that it wasn't a Muslim daycare based on the town that we're in. Like,
Considering you and I are the only people in this town who've been looking for daycare who don't go to church on a weekly basis,
right?
I think it's safe to assume that, everybody there is the good church-going folk.
Right. Anyway, but I digress. Sure. That's all useless info, because that is not...
It's not what's going to make me mad.
Not why you will hate me. So on the way home, we're talking about the daycare, pull back into the neighborhood, and as we're swinging onto our street, I look over, neighbors are out front. The one,
oh my God,
the cool across the street neighbors.
Now this happened. I was leaving here almost 1 week ago this hour, and I walked out the door, and I quick turned around, and Steve, is that the guy you want to be friends with? He said, yeah. Let's go. I tried to talk you into
I slammed
let's
the door
go
shut.
over there. Let's talk to this guy.
Nope.
He's outside with either a friend or brother, whatever, another guy playing catch with a couple of kids in the yard. Would have been a perfect opportunity.
Nope. And I poo-pooed it. I tucked my tail between my legs, slammed the door shut, drew the shades, turned off all the lights.
Which, fair to say, I've probably seen them and had as much interaction with them as you have.
Most likely.
Since you've lived here.
Most likely. So... we pull back in.
You did not.
And Nat and I were both in a good mood. Like, it's a happy time in our life.
Even though you just went to a daycare you have no interest in?
Even though we went, honestly, it was still a good experience because we learned from that. Okay, so for the next one, we have to ask this and ask this and ask this. So it's kind of it's a learning experience. So I decided to look on the positive. We're driving back. We're in a good mood. We're like, okay, well, that's not the one, but hey, that's okay. Yeah. We're going to find one. It's going to be great. And as we pull up, turn into our driveway, I look at Annette and I said, we're doing it. We're going over and talking to them right now.
Poor Annette.
Because it's the neighbor.
Why does she get roped into your weird desire to have some hip young friend who has a kid? Like, poor Annette just wants to go inside. It's probably been a long day. She's pregnant. She's drained. You got 2 dogs in the house. They probably need to eat. You guys need to eat. But in your mind, you're happy because you just saw a daycare. Only thing going through her mind is how starving she is. She wants a shower to go to bed so she can wake up and feel exhausted even though.
But
no, Steve.
We had already eaten dinner.
Steve wants to traverse the cul-de-sac tonight and go hand out cookies and go shake hands and kiss babies and all the other stuff.
That's very inaccurate. We had already eaten dinner. The dogs had already eaten dinner. Everyone was happy.
Maybe this is the poll question. Did Annette want to go visit the neighbors? Do you want to see the results on that?
I don't think that she was as excited about it as I was.
Because nobody is, Steve. I'm not in the minority here. That's not something that people look forward to.
I'm gonna call her downstairs right now to see if she feels as though I forced her into it or not.
That's not something that normal people who've been living in a neighborhood for more than a year are like jacked about. Once you've been here for more than a year, it's accepted among you and your cul-de-sac mates. Like, hey, they live there. We've not communicated yet. That doesn't need to change now.
I can't believe that
in the future.
You don't want a sense of community.
No, I don't. This community, it couldn't be further from me than what I like. There's people posting about cars in the left lane, Steve.
So
I don't understand. Like, okay, I apologize. I jumped all over you and down your throat. While we wait for Annette to get down here, please continue. You forced your lovely pregnant wife after being home from a long day. You say, "Hey, let's go meet the neighbors." Is that how it went?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, of course not. No. Okay, there she is. There she is.
So we don't even have to. Okay, Annette, I just have a question. Because I think Steve is wrong, It's just you and I. Don't even forget he's here. The other night, you guys went and checked out a daycare Steve was just telling us about. Steve has described the ride home as joyous and sunshiny, and the outlook is bright, which I totally understand. Even though it wasn't the daycare, it's a new chapter. You're excited. You're looking forward to it. You pull into the driveway, into the garage, and Steve turns to you and he says, "We're going to do it. We're going to go meet the neighbors." Now, the only question I have for you, and Steve, tell me if I'm leading in any way. Are you excited to do this, or do you not want to do this at that time?
I didn't really want to do it, but I was just more nervous.
That's it? That's it? That's all?
But it was because she was more nervous.
It's your pregnant wife, a day of work, you go visit a daycare, you haven't fed her in 16 hours, and all she wants to do is go inside and let the dogs out, eat, and go to bed after a shower, and you want to go hobnob with neighbors.
I feel like you're adding a lot of details that you couldn't possibly know.
I'm sorry, Annette. I can't believe he did that to you.
Thank you.
That's inconsiderate. It's rude. I can't believe it. But you know what? That doesn't... I get what she's saying, because I think she's agreeing with me that...
Is she?
Well, I think she probably thought, and I speak for your neighbors in this too, they probably thought, hey, we don't have to do this. Like, it's been more than a year. It's been acknowledged. Again, I would think that after a year...
That is not the neighborhood I want to live in.
Okay, so, I don't want to put words or thoughts in your mouth.
No, of course not. No, not at all.
I think even with that answer, I think we still put that on the poll this week. Because I think that answer she gave was a little politically correct for your feelings, but kind of showed what she actually thought about that experience.
She is, Annette is definitely not the strike up a conversation with anybody, with a stranger type of person.
Sure.
I'm not really either, but
for some reason.
But in this case,
these neighbors have...
I want to know my neighbors.
These neighbors have struck you.
I want to know my neighbors because they have a young daughter. We're going to have a child soon. A couple of years from now, our kids could be best friends.
Yeah.
And it's more laying the groundwork for the future generations.
How old?
How old is their child?
About, yeah.
A year.
Okay, I guess I was thinking older because I don't know who the kid they were playing catch with, but there was a kid running around in the yard, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure who. That must have been a friend or
Okay, but in my mind, I was like, well, they're going to be friends until that girl's 11,
Yeah.
and realizes I can't be seen hanging out with
a baby.
Yeah, 8-year, at that point 7-year-old Steve's kid.
Yeah.
So okay, so you tell her you're going to go do this. It's about what time is it? Like, is it acceptable visiting time?
Oh, it's probably. I think probably 7:00.
Okay, so an hour before the witching hour, so you got plenty of time to get home and be safe nestled in your bed.
So as we're pulling in, the guy is out there and he's pushing his daughter around on a little stroller. Mom is out there and she's doing some work in the garden. So doing that, I was like, "This is it. We're doing this."
You've estimated their age before. I think you said you thought they were about your age.
Yeah, roughly our age.
Now,
Maybe a little younger.
did that hold? You still think they're about that age?
Yeah,
or
I think
did it end up being like, oh boy, I misjudged that from the road?
No. I feel as though they're about our age.
Okay, I didn't know if you ended up having a conversation about the best cookie for your soft teeth.
No, we didn't do that.
Headlights being too bright at night, so they don't like to drive late.
Nope.
Okay,
I didn't ask them what prescription they had for their readers, or if they were bi or trifocals.
Yeah, and where can I get one of those fancy loop around so I don't keep losing my glasses? So that wasn't a part of the conversation.
No, I didn't ask them where they get the cardboard cutout that makes it look like someone is weeding the garden when no one is in fact weeding the garden.
You didn't have to check in with what style insert they're wearing on their daily walkers?
No.
Okay.
No, again, approximately my age, maybe a little bit younger. So Annette and I start walking over there, walking down the driveway, and he happens to look over in our direction. We cross the street.
Oh, God.
So if you're in his shoes, this is like your worst nightmare.
There's no question. It's happened to me. I told the story. Our neighbors came over like twice this fall or winter to give us like cookies or some nonsense. I don't want that. Just leave me alone. I'm not interested.
You're miserable.
No, it's not miserable. I'll give you a wave. I don't want to be friends with you. I couldn't.
What is
be
bad
less
about being
interested.
friends with someone?
It's just it leads to nothing but the only
Wait,
time
being friends with somebody leads to nothing but negativity?
In this case, what are the only ever issues you're going to have with a neighbor? They're never going to be like, hey, friendly neighbor, this happened. This is great. No, it's going to be like,
what are you
hey,
talking
you
about?
knocked down a part of my fence. You need to fix it. Or, hey, you're not mowing this part of the lawn. It's never going to be like when you guys are going to Hobnob.
Wait, so this must be did you have a bad experience with your neighbors growing up?
No, I mean, not really. We never really talked to them.
See,
Neighbors
growing
are
up,
weird,
Growing
man.
up, the neighbors on the one side, they were old family friends. Because my grandparents lived in our house before we lived in it. Like, my parents bought our house, my childhood
Generational
home, from my grandparents.
Sure.
So the people that were the neighbors, they had been family friends for years. And they were some of the most wonderful people in my life. They had a pool. They let us swim there whenever we wanted. They were just awesome.
So there's the reason.
Yeah. The neighbors in back of us, they were such good neighbors that, like, we had a fence around our yard. They had a fence around their yard. We put a gate to go from our yard, our backyard, into their backyard, which seems crazy, but growing up, that was completely normal for me, that we could go, because we were always going over to each other's house. Yeah, but it's easy to hop the one direction. It's not as easy to hop it in the other direction.
Was it a
It was like a
chain
wooden
link?
No, like a wooden fence.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was assuming chain link where you can just hop it, but
No.
Okay, I mean, before, so I lived in a different town until like third grade, and I did know the neighbors. They had children on like both sides or one side, and we were friends. But it was a similar situation to now when like they were all very super religious. Mm-hmm. So I'd be going over. I'd be having lunch there and having macaroni and cheese, and be like, "Did you start eating?" Yeah, macaroni and cheese on the table. I'm 6. We need to say grace.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
Grace.
You know, everybody's holding hands. I'm just sitting there staring around in a room. Mac and cheese getting cold.
As they're preaching to the Lord.
Yeah. And
so you're saying that you hate your neighbors because of their religion.
No, that was fine. Like, because obviously for me, that my brother and I had friends our age who lived right there, and I remember playing, roller hockey on our cul-de-sac that we lived on, and all of the same stuff you did. When we moved, no, that didn't happen. My parents had very odd ducks. One that has had like mental issues and not great, and didn't have kids. And by that time we knew a kid down the road, but not neighbors.
Yeah.
And then when Katie and I moved into our house now, I briefly mentioned it a while ago, but we had to call the cops on one neighbor, and the other one is the one who keeps trying to hang out. Ugh. I've had enough conversations with these people. They stopped by on Halloween. It was fine. 2 minutes too long of a 3-minute conversation. I don't need it.
How old are you? 32?
32.
When was the last time you think you made a new friend?
God, when did I meet you?
Like a decade ago.
Yeah, nailed it.
Okay.
No,
so
best guess, a person I would see hang out. Ugh. Oof. Yeah. Hey.
I rest my case.
2010, 2011. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because
all right.
I don't know. I don't crave that. I don't need to and I already know these people on the side who have come by and talked. I'm sure they're fine. They have 2 very young children as well. But when they collect rainwater,
what's wrong with that?
It's just weird, man. Like, it's like, do they have a bunker?
It's economical.
Oh, economical. What, are they using it to shower?
No, they probably use it to water their grass.
So stupid. They've got the weird garden with arches and stuff, and like they don't park in the garage,
okay,
Steve.
So,
like one of them doesn't park in the garage because he does woodwork. I'd have nothing in common. Like if I wanted to say like, "Hey man, how about the Lions on Sunday?" He'd say, "I'm sorry, I was lathing this piece of wood."
How do you know? So you think because he's into woodworking that he's not into football?
Yeah, I've seen the guy. Yeah, he's not into football.
Okay, all right. Okay, so. The weirdos next door,
weird people. I stand by
the ones who water their garden.
No, if you have rainwater barrels, you're weird. I'll stand by it. I'll defend that forever.
We might get a rainwater barrel.
Oh my God. Okay, stop washing your hair and do the dreadlocks and buy your hemp sandals. Oh, you hippies.
We're thinking about doing that to so our lawn doesn't die this year.
I don't know. Turn on your underground sprinkling.
Yeah, but we tap it into that, so that way we're not wasting all the water.
Isn't it already tapped into the city water that's connected to this house?
Yeah, but the rainwater's free.
Oh, for God's sake. So you're going to collect enough rainwater in barrels that will supply the sprinkler? That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water.
I mean, it's not going to supply it indefinitely.
Well,
but
yeah, you were already doing like, I don't know.
Those big rain barrels, they're like 55 gallons.
So you're going to have a silo full of rainwater hooked up to your sprinkler system so you can continue to water each zone for 90 seconds?
No, like 12 to 15 minutes.
What were you up to when you gave up last year? Like 4.5?
It's like it ran like 4 times a day for 4 hours each time.
The only time that
it still did nothing. I'll tell you what though, my lawn's never looked better. This is the best it's looked since like this time last year.
And again, green brown mush is where we're at right now.
Yeah.
I'm just I don't. Okay, we totally digressed. You hop across the street.
Yeah.
You don't even have a gift.
No.
So you're just going over there, cold with nothing but your conversational ability.
Oh, wait a minute. No, so now I'm, even though you're completely against me meeting my neighbors.
Oh, sure.
I have to bring them a gift?
Well, this guy's already got to suffer through this, the doldrums of whatever's about to occur to his life. It's Wednesday at 7 o'clock. He's about to wrap everything up, put toys away, and think about his tomorrow. And Mr. 38-year-old wearing a stocking cap, slinking across the road with his wife.
I was 37 at the time.
Oh, sorry.
And I was not wearing a stocking cap.
What?
I was letting the BCH flow.
Okay, so you're a little less intimidating than what you.
Well, it was a nice breezy day, so I walked in slow motion as the breeze flapped my hair in the wind,
bobbing in the back, up and down. Sure. Okay, so you hop across the road.
So we're walking across the street. He makes eye contact. He says, "Hey, man, what's up?" And I said, "This has gone on too long."
Oh no!
And he kind of chuckled. I said, "Year and a half we've lived here. We've waved 100 times. Finally, we're walking over. Want to introduce ourselves to you." And they couldn't have been nicer.
Mm-hmm.
They were fantastic. Just very nice people. Adorable young daughter. And it worked out great. There wasn't any big. He didn't call me an idiot for walking over to say hi. He didn't say, "Oh, go away." I feel like I'm okay at reading people.
You want to call?
He wasn't doing like the
check his watch.
Yeah, like, "Oh, I got a call from work." Boop, 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 boop.
You want to go get him quick, and I can ask him while you step out?
I'd be happy. I'd be happy to go get my new friend.
What's his name? You want to give it? Come on.
No, I do.
Okay, you got his name.
Yeah,
okay, good.
We actually, because we got home and we were like, "Oh, that was really nice." They genuinely seem like really nice people. And but I'm terrible with names. So when we got home, I said to Annette, I was like, "Get a Post-it note, write their names on it, and stick it on like the little thumbtack, the little bulletin board in the kitchen." And so now it says "Cool Neighbors" and then their names. So I figure if I look at that like every day for the next week or so,
remember.
I'll probably have it memorized by then.
Here's what you do. You get a Google map, an aerial view of your neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
You put a thumbtack in there and you
Yes.
put their names so you can learn everybody's name around the neighborhood.
Boy, that wouldn't make me look like a murderer when the police come.
Nope. And when somebody sees it, you just explain, obviously.
Yeah. And I have like little strings going from one to the other.
You give everybody the same explanation, how you just want to be friends. And being friends are cool, and I just want to hang out with everybody. And nobody will call the police. Nobody will question your mental state. It's going to be fine.
Okay.
I stand by it. Now, I know I think the polls was like nearly 50-50 when we put it up, this first came up a few months ago. Mm-hmm. I stand by it. And I think the 50% that are in the right. I think you're weird. If it hasn't happened organically at a year and a half.
That was organically.
Organically, is it coming home after 18 months and walking across the street?
Wait, so organically, meaning what your neighbor did, where they walked over and introduced themselves.
Yeah, but I just didn't want it. I'm not interested.
But that was organically.
That was also after I'd been living there since 2014. And this was also after a few years. I'm not interested.
All right. So how do friendships form?
For me, they don't.
Yeah, well, obviously. But if I want to make a friend, how do I do that?
Ooh. 37?
37.
Nah, you're good.
But I'm not good.
You got plenty.
I have this dream for my neighborhood that you're going to hate this so much.
Oh, my God. If you say block party, this podcast is done forever. I am not kidding you. If you say block party, where you guys are having a potluck barbecue.
No, not exactly.
You're finding the one with a pool and you're all hanging out. I
not
swear
exactly.
To God.
I want to get a projector and an outdoor screen and have movie nights for the neighborhood.
What the hell is wrong with you, man? What is wrong? Leave everybody alone.
Well, they don't have to come. But I figure
but then they're going to feel like the outcast because the weirdo Steve organized another neighborhood event on the Facebook page?
I'm gonna go onto the Nextdoor app. I'm gonna invite everybody in the surrounding neighborhood to bring lawn chairs and popcorn over. We're gonna set up the outdoor inflatable screen and a projector, and we're gonna watch Back to the Future.
If I promise to not say anything ever, can I join either the Facebook group you're making for your cul-de-sac or the Nextdoor page that already exists for your cul-de-sac, just so I can observe?
Sure. You'll have to use my address as your address, or else I don't think, like, on the next door
I
app.
think you need to make a Facebook one. I think that's the best way to do it.
You think?
Yeah, then you can administrate all you want. Power hungry and kick people and
Call it like Steve's Movie Block Party group.
Yeah, or like now you're like the street name crew. And you got to be on
like
there.
The Main Street Gang.
But then it's just me as an outsider, and I will never comment, but I'm just in the group so I can observe all the weird family dadness that is happening from you.
Man, as somebody with
Hey,
a child,
guys.
I feel like you'd be on board with this.
Hey guys, anybody's kiddies joining up on T-ball this year? We should start a team. I can get a sponsor.
I feel like you're going to be converted.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see myself making different friends in a few years, obviously, when activities for Reed start to kick up, right? Whether it be school or, he wants to go kick a soccer ball, around a field in March. And
that's when you think you're finally going to open up to the prospect of friends?
Not even friends. Like, that's acquaintance, right? Like, I don't like if you want to do a play date with our children, that's fine, but just because my kid is the similar age as yours, I don't need to be
say
your
hypothetically, 5 years from now,
Yeah.
Reed is good friends with Tommy.
Yep.
And Reed goes over to Tommy's house for a sleepover on a Saturday night in the fall. And it's up to you to pick him up Sunday. So Sunday around noon, you go over there. Little Reed and little Timmy are still playing in the backyard, or Tommy or whatever his name is. And Dad answers the door
First mistake.
with a Lions jersey on,
Yep.
Michigan State hat, Tiger's glove on one hand, and a beer in the other. And he says, "Hey, what's up, Reed's dad? Got the game on. You want to come in?"
Nope. Where's my kid? Game's on in an hour. If it's a Sunday at noon.
So even though
football game starts
he
Sunday-
has everything in common with you,
Yeah, no, I can't watch. That's a little bit different. I couldn't be like, for me, watching the Lions games and teams that I really love on certain week. You have to be a special person to be around me during that.
okay. What if he's wearing Triple H spandex pants?
Now we're in. Now we're watching WrestleMania together.
And I'm the weird one. And I'm the weird one.
We're starting a backyard wrestling league on a trampoline.
Right, of course.
And we're going to buy folding table. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Man,
I'm glad it went well, Steve.
I'm thrilled. I
think
can't
you're
wait to introduce you to my new buddy.
Did you guys? Now you didn't make any.
He's
plans.
going to be on the podcast next week.
You didn't make any plans or anything, did you?
Nope. No,
Okay.
but there was the
Did you mention the weird movie projector idea?
not yet. No,
Okay.
I figure I'll hold off on that for a bit
right.
until at least our child is born.
Probably would have thrown him.
Hey kids, want to come over and watch movies?
I probably would have thrown him off a little bit if you. Hey, I got this idea: block parties, but with movies in our front yard. Huh?
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, I'm just
Annette is so against it. She's like, so you want to be the neighborhood guy, right?
Annette is my spirit animal.
The crazy thing is, a couple years ago, I would have never thought that this would ever be a possibility, but I have gone from 0 to dad in like
So
2
gonna
seconds.
Have a pool in 5 years. You are going to have a pool, and the movies are going to be in your front yard. And the only recourse I'm going to have is when I know the movie nights are happening, I'm going to come down your cul-de-sac and just honk my horn for 30 minutes straight. And I'm going to leave. Everyone's going to be like, oh, thank God that jerk left. I'm going to circle around the neighborhood, come back, and do it again.
I will put a spike strip down.
You guys are so stupid. But
All right. Well, you're miserable at your house.
happy as a peach. I get left alone. I get to do what I want. I still have my friends that
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
need to worry
everybody
about.
gets to do what they want, and nobody's being held at gunpoint.
I don't have to worry about rushing into my garage when I get home because some
Oh,
lunatic
God.
like
I'm gonna
you.
I'm gonna go to your neighbor's house and give them $500 and say annoy them as much as you can.
Make sure you go to the right one. You go to the wrong one, you'll get call the police.
Oh, I know which one that is.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Honestly, the times that we've come over to your house since you told me that story, I've always thought, oh, I hope he says something. I hope that guy says something.
I'm telling you that was the craziest situation I've ever had, and I hope it never comes up again because I was terrified.
Yeah,
terrified for my animals.
Yeah, I kind of want somebody to say something.
You know, we did talk to our neighbors across the street too, both of them. Mm-hmm. But these are the people too. It's going to be hard for me now. Obviously, I'm a bit of a gruff personality. I swear more than I need to. I need to fix that. Obviously, with a child in my life now, but like it was the 4th of July, and this house came out, and they're watching other neighbors doing their fireworks, and they had like a big boombox playing the Christian radio station. Like, it's gonna be hard to break down this barrier of like me wanting to.
So it seems like all of your issues with neighbors are religion-based.
No, but I can tell you that is going to be a hurdle when they realize, I don't really go to church. And
well, you think that it's going to be.
I also I'm not going to be able to sit there and talk about, they're older, they're a bit older, mm-hmm. But I like to, if I wanted to reminisce, like, oh man, playing some old music, how about that 1999 DMX album?
Like, well, that's right, because young Kyle was.
I loved hip hop.
He was a little rough.
I loved 90s rap music, that's not going to coalesce with him wanting to reminisce about DC Talk's most recent effort.
Okay.
And their kids are older, so in that regard, it's not going to work. The best chance is going to be the neighbors on the one side of us who do appear to be nice people. They're fine people. Our very first ever interaction with them was when Katie opened the door to let one of our dogs in, and they were yelling at our dog, and so that was not a favorite look. She didn't even say anything to them, but they felt bad enough. They delivered an apology to us a few days later. Okay. I'm telling you, it's not all me. Neighbors are weird. I stand by it.
Neighbors can be weird.
Yeah, and I'm not the one saying that I got I got the all weird neighbors. Mm-hmm. I've talked to the guy behind our who lives behind us, but then this summer he made me mad. I kept you updated on that whole saga where they installed a fence.
He built the biggest shed in the world.
Well, that's fine. I don't have to see him anymore. But they built they what
do they say? Good fences make good neighbors.
Yeah, and they purposely built this shed the long way to block us from ever having to make eye contact. I've talked. They're huge.
It's a nice shed, though. You think maybe you could find out? Did he build the shed?
That was a kit.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Poke your head over the fence.
Yeah, I'll knock on the fence.
Oh, you should put a gate in between your yard and his.
They're in Disney right now, Steve, and I know that because I'm Facebook friends with him. Huh?
That's surprising.
Only because he had to send me a message on Facebook about the fence that he was building this summer.
Ah, okay.
Which was a headache, and I'm still mad about. So
why? Wait, what? I forget. Why were you mad? Oh, because it moved. It moved a foot or something.
They moved the property line more onto our property, and then he decided after all that he wasn't going to connect his new fence to the current fence, leaving holes where our animals can get in or out. So we had to essentially connect the fences ourselves. Unpleasant, just very unpleasant. We had to build a false fence with old chicken wire for about a week while their fence was down, because they decided to do it themselves. So it was a headache. It was an absolute headache. Oh man, he's a Michigan State fan, Steve. We've communicated. We talk. If I let the dogs out and I see him out, if I can't shut the door fast enough, and he catches me to talk to me.
You don't even give him a go green?
I'll do it to strangers when I'm passing, but I want to make sure I'm out of.
Right, you want to make sure that you're both on your
conversational path. You need to be gone.
Yeah, you don't want to end up in the discussion den.
Yeah. Name's Corey. Good guy. I'm down in Disney right now, Steve. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah,
we're friends.
Did. Hey, we need to.
Oh my God, are we so far behind?
We are so far behind, and we still have to go through.
Before we get to the tournament, very quickly, we need to talk about. For crying out loud, almost 1 year has culminated. The day this is out, you're listening to this right now. Our faces are on a 10-foot 6-inch tall by 22-foot 9-inch wide billboard in Van Wert, Ohio.
Yes,
Steve, we did it.
Good
and
job.
By we,
I mean, everybody who donated, you and I, the only thing we did was take way too long to email back and forth with a billboard executive.
With a man named Joe.
And I sent you a screenshot that I got on Facebook the other day. We didn't even need to do that. There's an app that you can buy a billboard from your phone.
Yeah, it's called like Blip. You just upload a picture and then it... So I'm assuming that it just like flashes it on a billboard.
It must
for
be
like,
a digital one,
for
right?
like 2 seconds or something.
So it must be a digital, and you're paying for how many times it stays on and whatever. But here you and I are looking at PDFs of locations in Van Wert. But anyway, that it is up. That this is remarkably. I'm very excited. Now your face has already been on a billboard from our stolen bit that your side gig did earlier this year.
Yep.
But this is exciting. I've never been on a billboard. I never thought I'd be in a billboard, let alone in Van Wert, Ohio, Steve.
Now, I think that what we need to do, because we are at time of recording 6 days away from our gathering at the billboard, we need to email our billboard executive tomorrow to indeed confirm that the billboard is up.
Yeah,
because
it
I don't.
Will be up tomorrow.
I thought it was.
It goes up on the 2nd of April, so Tuesday. It will be up today, Tuesday. Maybe we can ask for photographic proof that it's
I just
up.
want to make sure that we don't drive there and it's not there.
We'll verify on Tuesday today that it's out. We'll verify that it's out. We'd love to see you there, Van Wert, Ohio. I updated it with the location. There is the address on the event page on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. /events if you want to get right there. Otherwise, it's on our events tab on our page. I'm trying to pull up the exact address. 700 West Irvin Road, Van Wert, Ohio. Let's plan on meeting there. We have it listed, Steve, 1 p.m.
Okay.
If you're coming, we'd love to see you there. Going to try to get a little something for everybody who comes and joins us there. Saturday, 1 p.m., Van Wert, Ohio. We're going to go take a look at our billboard, take a couple of photographs, and we're going to head down the road 15 minutes away to D's on Main Street.
Yes.
Who...
they don't seem as thrilled about us being there as we are about being there.
Very uninterested in us doing a live podcast, so I do feel really bad about this. I really wanted to do a live podcast, Steve.
I feel as though it's probably not happening, though.
I think we should plan something like that maybe in town here. We probably have more listeners who live here, and if we could even coordinate it, it won't happen this year, but around your side gigs live show, I know a lot of people travel for that, and we could do it somewhere else.
Okay.
And maybe
you coming to that, by the way?
Oh, God, no.
All right.
Listen to that garbage.
Oof. All right, but...
Radio's dying, man. Didn't I tell you that?
But the big story this week on the Steve and Kyle podcast... the return of the Throat Goblin tournament, titled the Throaty 2 this year. 32 disgusting throat noises from my gut.
If you wanna be the
with
best,
a few.
you got to be a
fighter. All right, we can fade that out now. We hit the part that we all like.
A few surprise entrants by me this year that are not going to be
known
to you. I do have them listed, so if they're eliminated, I'll tell you today.
Yeah, I want to know. Maybe if you can, I think it would be fun to know like how many of yours still remain after each.
Right. Yeah. Let me try to pull open my list. I did mark them. So yeah, this is the Throaty 2, the 32 best throat noises and body noises from Steve's body the past calendar year.
Do you happen to have a coin on you?
I don't. No.
Because there are two that are dead heats.
Dead heats? Are you kidding me? 50-50.
Unless, let me refresh. No, it looks like they are both still 50-50. So let's get those out of the way right now so we can get the final matchups together. We have the number 4 seed Gastric School of Broadcasting and the number 5 seed Esophagus Episcopalian University. So we got to flip something.
Almost like this should have been planned out in advance, huh?
How about we flip this remote here?
We're going to flip the Apple TV remote, Steve.
The side with the buttons is heads, no buttons is tails.
Now, one more time, this is the 4-5 matchup.
Gastric School of Broadcasting
Heck yeah.
versus Esophagus Episcopalian.
Esophagus Episcopalian, Steve, the defending throat goblin champion, now being reduced to a remote flip-off. If anybody tells you your vote doesn't matter, let them be heard. It matters here.
Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready. It is tails.
So that...
Did we?
I don't think we assigned.
No, you did. Oh, boy.
I don't think we did. No, I said this is heads and this is tails.
Okay.
But then we didn't assign.
Well, okay, so heads defending champion, Esophagus Episcopalian.
Yeah. So we had a choice between A and B, and we got one.
Heads, Esophagus Episcopalian University. Tails, Gastric School of Broadcasting. It's heads.
Oh.
The defending champion moves on.
They survive.
Steve. Esophagus Episcopalian
All right.
University. Do you have that sound that is moving on into the Steve?
Yes.
16.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
No problem.
I have a million different things opened right now.
If there's anything I can do for you, write it down and I'll try next time.
Appreciate that. Esophagus Episcopalian. You may remember them from...
Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, so Gastric School of Broadcasting, a new entrant in the tournament, upset out of the tournament in the first round.
Yeah. Let me update the list here. Where was it? Esophagus Episcopalian moves on. That's exciting. I'm happy that they didn't get eliminated.
There's something to be said about the returning champion, Steve, and their ability to come back with that experience the next year and really knock off an opponent in a remote flip-off.
All right, and the other matchup that is a dead heat. I can't believe that after all the votes. Hold on. Esophagus Episcopalian.
Moves
move
on.
The other one, it's the number 2 seed, Gut State,
Oh, wow.
versus the number 7 seed, Arcs. We know him here in the discussion den as Acid Reflux Correspondence School.
Wow. So another defending or a returning entrant into the Throat Goblin National Championship on the verge of upsetting the newcomer Gut State, but not just a 4 or 5 seed, a 7 about
Over
to
at
upset
2.
a 2 at the whim of the Apple TV remote. Steve, heads will be the returning entrant, Acid Reflux Correspondence School, also known as ARCS. Tails will be Gut State.
Oh, boy.
Are you kidding me?
Do you believe in miracles?
Yes!
Oh,
Acid Reflux Correspondence School moves on.
good Lord.
I can't believe this. This is
Oh, that's an upset if there ever was one.
a 7/2 in the first round. Safe to say, Steve, all of the brackets busted.
Yeah, seriously, mine completely busted. I had Gut State going on to the semifinals.
Whew, man, oh man, the Flim 4 brackets out the window right now. The 1 in trillion chance you're going to nail it, even worse.
Yeah. Now, how do you want to do it? Do you want to go through and play all the matchups real quick?
Yeah, we can do that. Or we can play the matchups and then quick read off the winner as we move on here.
No, I mean for the
For the
next round.
well, we have to determine the winners first.
Oh yeah, we didn't even go through it
No,
yet. What am I doing?
we have
What am I
to.
doing?
We need to read all the winners here.
Yeah.
As we'll go through. So we'll go through the bracket. Obviously, the left ventricle and the right ventricle, and all the quadrants, Steve. So what region are we starting in here as we recap? Today?
We're going to be over in the left ventricle, starting with the gut division. No surprise, the number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic took out Windpipe Wartime Memorial School. It was a hard fought battle.
Do you have the percentages? Boy, I
do,
wish I had
yeah.
some of this handy in my computer. That would have been a lot better for both of us.
Yeah, this was by 87%.
Oh, just a runaway
of the vote.
then. Just a
Exactly.
runaway. So the number 1 seed, as it should, moves on. The newcomer Windpipe Wartime Military School lives to fight another year.
There you go. I'll pull up all these for you. Now we move down to the number 4 seed Snot Bubble State University and the number 5 seed Soft Palate Performing Arts University, their first year in the tournament, upsetting the number 4 seed with 57% of the vote. So Soft Palate Performing Arts University moves on.
Wow.
Let's see. Making our way to the 3 and the 6, the number 3 seed Mucus U. Not surprisingly, over the number 6 seed Fat Tongue Tech.
Wow, we had
70-30.
We had a comment on Twitter that just a few days ago that someone had Fat Tongue Tech, Steve, winning it all. So even though a 6 seed going out in the first round seems normal, this was a heavy contender for a 6 seed. Just goes to show you, though, the experience of the returning Mucus U matters.
Yeah, now, we already had one 7 seed over a 2 seed.
Yeah.
We nearly had another 7 seed over a 2 seed.
Wow, really?
Dumbmouth Community College did not beat the number 7 seed Corpus Automotive Education Center, but just barely lost. That was 52% of the vote going to Corpus Automotive Education Center. 48% to Dumbmouth CC, so they are out of the tournament.
What matchups early on here to see the 7-over-2 upset, which is very exciting, and these very close matchups, even with the newcomers, Corpus Automotive holding on to live to fight another day against Mucus U.
So we're going to make our way down to the throat division, still in the left ventricle. The number 1 seed, Cardia Center of Medicine, and the number 8 seed, Tonsil Tech. Cardia Center of Medicine barely squeaks out a victory over the 8 seed.
Really?
Yeah, 55-45 on the vote there.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. It's surprising, but I think what we're seeing here early on, Steve, a lot of respect for the returning teams. Even a 1 seed there, number 1 seed Cardia Center, barely hanging out against the returning Tonsil Tech.
A number 5 seed once again over a number 4 seed, number 5 seed Loud Stomach State. 75% of the vote over the number 4 seed Vocal Cord Valley, with just 25% of the vote. So that's
a runaway.
This bracket is chock full of upsets.
That's
incredible.
Crazy. That's 2 number 5 seeds and a number 7 seed that have already advanced into the Steve 16.
Let's see, the number 3 seed, we call them ASS or ASS, the Antrim Secondary School. Not surprisingly, over Uvula State Technical University, 70-30. Not even just in no way a competition there.
Wow.
The number 2 seed, University of Jowl.
Returning again, another returning entrant,
yes.
Steve, taking on the newcomer Craw Academy.
Yeah, just destroyed them. 85% of the vote. Not even a chance for Craw Academy. So better luck next year, kids.
And with that, Steve, the very first Kyle entry is eliminated. Craw Academy goes out. I don't know if you have Craw Academy, but this was my efforts to join the tournament this year.
That was the 8 seed?
That was the number 7 seed Craw Academy up against University of Jowl.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And soundly defeated, you said. 85%. Almost like somehow the voters knew it was me and decided to stick it to me, which is known to happen. So that's with the full left ventricle complete now. We're going to have both of the brackets will be the same. Number 1 seed taking on the number 5 seed. The number 2 seed taking on the number 3 seed to move on to the Phlegm 4.
Now, the over in the right ventricle, what division is this now? This is what's the top one called? Where's my little bracket?
I believe we have the...
Oh, that's the stomach division.
The stomach and the bowel division remaining.
Yep. So we have the number 1 seed Phlegm A&M, the number 8 seed Snot State. Phlegm A&M making easy work of Snot State, 85% of the vote. The University of Belly, the number 4 seed, and the number 5 seed Trachea School of Fine Arts. Look at that. Another 5 over a 4. Trachea School of Fine Arts, 90% of the vote. University of Belly, just 10% of the vote.
Wow. So these 4-5s have proven to be real tough for the favorites. It goes to show you the parity of these teams this year in the middle portions there. You know, the 1 seeds seem to be running away with it, a couple of the number 1 seeds. These 4-5s could go either way.
What would you say if I told you we had another upset? Another 6 over a 3. Intestinal Rumble Art School.
Oh!
65% of the vote over the number 3 seed Busted Larynx A&M. Boy, a lot of these newcomers are just making their mark in the tournament this year.
Yeah, that's impressive stuff right there. Now, that's a newcomer in an upset. We've seen the newcomers in high seeds struggle. Maybe a bit of the spotlight being a problem there, Steve. But a 6 seed, what do you really expect out of a 6 seed? They come in there, they show out, and next thing you know, they're upsetting the number 3 seed Busted Larynx A&M. And here they are into the Steve 16. Congratulations.
Making our way down to the bowel division, the world once again writes itself. The number 1 seed Gullet Institute over the number 8 seed Stomach Acid U with a 70-30 margin. Not surprisingly at all there. A number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech takes down the number 6 seed Hogmaw Academy 65-35. And let's see, over Salivation Coastal State, the number 2 seed, decidedly beating the number 7 Epiglottis Trade School with 86% of the vote.
So there, I'm sorry, you said the number 2 seed advanced, the number 1 seed advanced, the number 5 seed advanced.
Yeah, let's see. So in the right ventricle, we got Phlegm A&M takes on Trachea School of Fine Arts. That's a 1 and a 5.
Yep.
We have the number 6 Intestinal Rumble Art School taking on the number 7 Acid Reflux Correspondence
It's a battle
School.
of the underdog, Steve. That means a guaranteed 6 or 7 seed is going to be in the What I Ate coming up next week.
Gullet Institute, the number 1 seed, taking on the 5 seed Esophagus Episcopalian. And the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech taking on a number 2 seed Over Salivation Coastal State.
Wow.
Well, there it is.
That's big right there. So that sets up for the next week of voting, everybody. Check our social media for that. You can vote on Twitter and Facebook for those at Steve and Kyle on Twitter, facebook.com/Steve and Kyle to get those in for the Steve 16 as they march on their way to the What I Ate.
Yeah, those will all be posted. It'll be very easy to vote on them, and we appreciate the participation in the voting over the last week. Hopefully, it keeps up throughout the tournament.
Did we have the new matchups? I don't want to put you on the spot
we
if
do.
we want to play these.
We do.
Did we want to run through these real quick?
Yeah, why don't we run through them very fast? If you could, do me a favor, have the bracket pulled up so you can kind of call out the matchups for me. Because it's a little difficult to click back and forth between the two screens.
Yeah, and you said so. Fat Lip Tech moved on. So
Actually, hold on
filling
here.
it out myself. I do have all of it ready.
I'll pull it right. Actually, I can do this. There we go. Zoom out a bit.
Oh, perfect. There we have it. Okay.
All right. So we got in the left ventricle, the number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic taking on, is it the number 4 seed Snot Bubble State?
That's number 5. I have Pharynx Polytechnic taking on Soft Palate Performing Arts University.
Oh, whoa, hold on here.
I think did you advance the wrong team or did I?
Oh boy, I don't know. Let me check.
Oh wow, boy, we have controversy in the discussion den right now, and this is bad news.
I am mistaken.
Oh.
It is the number 5 seed. Oh boy, this is this all has to be changed now.
We'll come back to it, Steve. We'll come back to it.
We can't come back to it. We can't come back to it because I still have to do it. So it's not like anyone's going to take care of it while we're playing.
It's not going to be fixed.
Other stuff. No.
You can't farm that out, Steve?
No. Hold on.
Now, there's a lot going on here. I think it's important everybody understands while this bracket is being made that the debate's going on, let alone the seeding, and now there's going to be nothing but debate. This is like the Academy Awards from 2 years ago when the wrong movie got the best picture, and then who was that?
Was it Moonlight? Or
Beatty? Was it Beatty up there? Had to go up there and pawn it off on his female presenting cohort. And say, hey, we screwed up. I don't know how I read the entirely wrong title, but that's what we have right now as we move into the Steve 16 with Pharynx Polytechnic. But Snot Bubble State University, I can see why you could be confused, Steve, because Snot Bubble State U and Soft Palate Performing Arts University, that was a close matchup. I want to say it went 53-47 on the voting. But yeah, Soft Palate Performing Arts University, the newcomer, looking to make some noise here as they move on to the Steve 16 and maybe upset the returning competitor, Pharynx Polytechnic.
Yeah, and I am, just moments away from having the updated bracket posted. Hopefully this is not something that happened more than one time while I was updating this earlier today. And look at that. Look at that. There we go.
We remind everybody as well, post and send us your brackets. If you filled any out, we'd love to see who you have as your champion. Already one bracket busted there with...
Probably a bunch of brackets busted, I would think.
Yeah, that's an exciting first round there as we move into the Steve 16.
All right, so the number 1 seed, Pharynx Polytechnic. Ooh, taking on the number 5 seed, Soft Palate Performing Arts University.
Wow,
it's a good
tough matchup. I would not want to have to vote on that.
No, not at all. This
number 2 seed, Steve, the newcomer, Corpus Automotive Education Center, going to be taking on the returning Mucus University. That's again in the gut division.
Okay, yeah. So here we go. The number 2 seed, like you said, Corpus Automotive Education Center. Ooh, versus that one's me. I definitely know that's me. I know the sound of my grumbles. Versus the number 3 seed, Mucus University. That was a cute little one.
That was nice. Listen to that.
Yeah, that was really nice. Moving down to the throat division, we have the Cardia
Center of Medicine, the number 1 seed, the newcomer, taking on the number 5 seed, Loud Stomach State. This is a rare second round battle of two newcomers.
So the number 1 seed, Cardia Center of Medicine, taking on the number 5 seed, Loud Stomach State. Very nice.
Oh, I did neglect to say, actually, well, maybe that was the only two. Maybe I did only lose one. I think I only had 2 entrants, Steve, and the Craw Academy was the only one. So half of my entries are gone here.
Okay. The number 2 seed, University of Jowl.
Oh, man.
Versus the number 3 seed, Antrim Secondary School.
Length there, not so much the volume or the the initial explosion on that one, but the length for Antrim, I think, is what propelled it into the second round.
The number 1 seed over in the right ventricle, the stomach division. The number 1 seed, Phlegm A&M. Oh, boy.
That's nice.
Versus the number 5 seed, Trachea School of Fine Arts.
Wow. Now, again, Trachea School of Fine Arts moving on, playing, I believe, on the Apple TV flip. A little chip on their shoulder going into the Steve 16 here.
Yeah, definitely. Now we have the number 6 and
the number
7,
6
I think,
seed,
right?
Intestinal Rumble Art School is going to be taking on Acid Reflux Correspondence School, as we call here in the Discussions Den, ARCs.
Here's the number 6 seed, Intestinal Rumble Art School. Very quick and decisive. Taking on the number 7 seed, Acid Reflux Correspondence School.
Now, you said the number 6 seed, very decisive there, Steve. They won in an upset over the number 3 seed here in the first round, Busted Larynx A&M.
Did they?
So apparently that quick, decisive hit there by the Intestinal Rumble Art School, IRAS, as we call it.
That's right.
IRAS taking on ARCs in the Steve 16.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This is all serious. This is all stuff that...
And again, please keep voting. I think we may move the voting here we talked about in the second round of the Steve 16 to our social media. Makes it a little bit easier for everybody. At Steve and Kyle on Twitter, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. We'll have, you've listened to the episode. There's also a YouTube video that'll have these matchups on it.
The number 1 seed going down to the, what division? This is the bowel division.
This is the bowel division.
Yeah, the number 1 seed. Number 1 seed, Gullet Institute. Versus the number 5 seed, returning champ, Esophagus Episcopalian.
Now, I was mistaken. Esophagus Episcopalian was the team who moved on with the Apple TV flip today, the second instance. So that's EU versus Guy in the Steve 16. That's what we call him here in the Discussion Den.
Say that again. That was
EU and Guy.
And the final matchup in the right ventricle, the bowel division. This is the number 2 seed over Salivation Coastal State versus the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech. There it is.
Wow, so that's the Steve 16 in its entirety. All the number 1 seeds advance. 3 of the number 2 seeds advance. You heard about ARCs as they move on and upset number 7 over the number 2. 3 of the number 3 seeds move on. And all of the number 5 seeds, and that's surprising. All of the number 5 seeds upset the number 4 seeds here in the Throaty 2 as we move on to the Steve 16. There you heard the last matchup. That's Oaks versus Flut, as we call them here in the Discussion Den. Fult over Salivation Coastal State versus Fat Lip Tech. Thank you everybody for voting and being a part of the tournament. Keep on voting as we move on down to the Steve 16, to the Wada 8, to the Phlegm 4.
Again, you can vote Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle or on Twitter at Steve and Kyle. At the time of this recording, we're not exactly sure if we're going to post it the same way as we did last time, but either way, it's very easy to do. Just look for a post with the bracket as the photo on that post, and cast your votes.
Please do share it, pass it along. We love to see the votes pour in for these matchups of Steve's bodily noises.
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, look at that.
Fast 5 for you, huh? You got the Fast 5? I mean, almost no question.
Hold on, I am typing my 5th one now.
Steve, I'll lead off this week. It's a big week for me. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Dumbo.
Well, I wasn't done with my analysis.
Oh, sorry.
yet.
I mean, it's Fast Five. I was just waiting for the analysis to either A, kick in, or B, we just would move on. So I apologize for cutting you off there
come on, man.
on this audio medium after 3 to 5 seconds of silence. So take it away.
Is Shane O'Mac going to be there?
Oh, he's there. Singles match, Steve against The Miz, obviously. Grudge match.
How about Stephanie?
Stephanie will be there, probably walking out Triple H in some weird leather outfit that's way too age inappropriate for her.
She's got to be like 50, right?
She's in her 50s. Looks tremendous.
Yeah.
They have I think 3 kids. She still is. She doesn't wrestle, but she was in a match 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Takes some moves from Ronda Rousey here and there. So yeah, she is. She's an active participant, Steve.
All right.
Next, Dumbo.
Dumbo, it's a movie, right?
Yeah, any interest in Dumbo that came out this weekend? Is that your bag? Was that you when you were growing up?
I was a big fan. We didn't have the Disney Channel growing up, but our neighbors had it, and we were such good friends with our neighbors that I would go over there every day and watch Dumbo Circus after school.
Freeload off the neighbors. Yeah, open this weekend.
How'd it do?
Good question. We'll find out and get back to you
on the turnaround.
Next, opening day.
Yay! Look at that. Were any games like snowed out this year?
I didn't see
Did anyone?
that. No.
Did anyone hit like a home run on the first pitch or anything like that?
Not that I saw. Nothing as neat as last year. They did move up the date even further this year to give players more off days during the season. The problem being, though, that you're still dancing with more rain and snow issues in a lot of these towns.
Yeah.
Especially in the north and the Midwest.
What about like a team like Colorado? I mean, is there...
You never know what you're going to get over there. It could be snow, it could be sunshine.
I remember it used to be, because we would go to opening day. I know I went to Phillies opening day a bunch of times.
What was the field back then?
What was
the stadium there?
Oh, Veterans Stadium.
So they played at the now they play in like Citizens
Bank Park. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I always remember going to the games then, and it was always a little bit chilly, but it was like, a week and a half. It was like April 10th or something, or April 15th, and now it's what, March
29, the earliest
29.
opening, or 28 or 29, the earliest opening day ever, and I think the inevitability is that they're just going to end up shortening the season. By the discussion's been about 8 games.
Because what are they, 162?
162, so I think the discussion is to cut it down to 154 and give yourself a little more leeway so you don't have to start in March. You don't have to worry about playing double headers in July to make up for the rainouts in March.
Or snowouts, yeah.
Yeah. Next, we have Gronk.
Retired, man. What do you think? Do you believe it?
Old. I do. He's got a future doing dumb advertisements forever.
He's not worth nearly as much money as I thought he was.
No,
like $40 million?
Yeah, what I had heard is that he did the Jay Leno method, I believe, where he kept all of his salary money separate and only spent his endorsement money.
Yeah, I've heard that. I remember watching him on some talk show talking about that.
So we all know that some financial analyst had to give him a pop-up picture book to explain that to him because there's no chance he understood
I think that guy's a lot smarter than everyone gives him credit for.
Really?
I do.
That's a guy still.
I think he gets it. I think he's very much like Kanye, where he's giving an impression. He's giving the impression that he's not very smart, but he really is.
See, I think Kanye is smart. I think he has. I mean, I'm not diagnosing him, but he has episodes of like what appear to be either bipolar or manic episodes where he just kind of goes off on a tangent. I just think Gronk is dumb. I think he's really dumb. What was the audio clip this last fall of Tom Brady at the line of scrimmage telling Gronk he had to stand up like he was like a down lineman? And, Gronk no here. But this is a guy who, I mean, his biggest joy in life is making 69 jokes.
Yeah. And, like, dating young, attractive women.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I can't blame him. The guy's 29 years old. He's worth millions of dollars. He's ripped, and he's a professional athlete. So,
I don't blame him for dating anybody that he wants to date. I just think he's a dumb, caveman-esque person.
now, did you see the NFL, on the NFL's official Instagram, posted something about Gronk retiring, saying that he was... Because I guess he has caught the most touchdown passes from Tom Brady, like 78 or something.
Sure.
And the internet was all abuzz because Tom Brady commented on the post saying, I hope the final number's not 78.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I interpret that as him saying he hopes to throw many more touchdowns to other people that may surpass that.
Yeah, I don't know, but the internet's looking at it from the other perspective of Gronk's coming back.
This is a guy who's held together by lug nuts and bionic elbows. He's had back surgery. He's had elbow surgeries. He had concussion issues.
Man, just
he's
imagine,
29, and he's smart enough to say, I have enough money that I don't need to continue to hurt myself and I can do what I want. I think he's smart enough to stay.
Imagine, because he's 3 years older than you, or 3 years younger than you.
Yeah.
He is, like 8 or 9 years younger than me. Can you imagine having been retired for 3 years at this point?
Yeah, I'm 32. I'm walking in Tommy Bahama shirts, flip flops, and
and you got all the money you'll ever need.
Yeah, I mean it's the dream, right? Now I know a lot of people say that he'll get bored, whatever, but this is a guy who also. I'm not a scout. He wasn't very good last year, Steve. Mm-hmm. He had, besides the injury concerns, a lot of on-field. The biggest video clip the NFL had this year was when the Patriots put him on defense for a Hail Mary play, and he got absolutely torched by a receiver running past him to score the game-winning touchdown in Miami. So he's not the same guy as 5 years ago, and injuries will do that. Maybe he comes back for a year and 2 years. Mm-hmm. Is he going to be the same? He's a physical specimen right now. He's built like a human, like a robot, right?
Yeah, maybe he just takes a year, lets his body heal.
Yeah,
keeps working out, gets in better shape. But still, I mean, with the the concussions and stuff like that, all it takes is one.
Yep.
All it takes is one. Like, you can be in the best shape of your life for 2 years, and you get hit and you fall weird, hit your head or something like that. You're essentially a vegetable.
Yeah, and he's made it very clear the only quarterback he will catch passes from is Tom Brady. How much more does Brady have in the tank? Now he says he'll be playing until he's 45. So it's only 2 years ago, 2 years away.
Oh, I thought he was 41 or 40.
I think he's 43.
Is he?
He might be, but either way, Brady doesn't have long left either. So we'll see. Again, wasn't as effective this year. Injuries, obviously. He's 29, but you have to decide, how do you want your 40s to feel? How do you want your 50s to feel? Is it worth it for one more year? And lastly, Steve, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, yeah, that weird audio of him getting married or getting a marriage license, but yelling about how his fiance, her boyfriend, is a drug dealer or something.
Yeah, so
what the hell?
Annulled it for 3 days.
Yeah.
Fourth marriage.
Good.
And claiming that he was so drunk, didn't know what he was doing. Not a great look, right? I mean, this is a guy who, he's kind of a cult hero now because of his terrible movies and kind of a punchline for all the tax issues and the movies he's done to pay off those tax issues. And now 4 marriages. The second one that's lasted less than 2 weeks. He was married to Lisa Marie Presley for a very short time.
Was he really?
And now this person for 3 days. And you got to assume he's hoping for an annulment so he doesn't have to continue to pay a settlement, alimony for someone who he's married to for 4 days and now is apparently dating a drug dealer, whatever he's accusing of. So,
poor guy.
What a weird ride
Come on,
for him,
Nick,
though,
get
man.
it together.
Honestly, I mean, it's not a drug. So it is different, but you look at a downfall like Robert Downey Jr., which his was drug-related, but he was an absolute icon in the 90s, and everybody thought he was the up-and-comer of all time for acting. And then he had the big downfall drug. But look at his comeback between Iron Man and everything now, and he's a massive, massive millionaire.
Do you remember hearing the story about how Robert Downey Jr., about how I read it like within the last year, when he was at his worst, what like snapped him out of it?
No.
He went to Burger King when he was all screwed up. He was all high or something. went to Burger King, ordered a burger, and he said it was the worst burger he's ever had. Like, it was so disgusting that he basically had an epiphany and was like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with my life?
Really?
And like that was the spark that it
what
took.
snapped him.
Yeah,
Wow.
to get him on the straight and narrow.
No kidding.
A bad
no.
burger from Burger King.
Hey, whatever it takes. Everybody's rock bottom is a bit different. That reminds me of this clip. Deion Sanders this week. Did you hear about him talking about his, quote, rock bottom?
No.
And it included his massive mansions and many cars, but how he still felt empty and waking up in bed with 2 and 3 women. That was his rock bottom.
Huh.
So, Burger King, drug addicted, or mansions and women that aren't fulfilling him. That's Deion Sanders' rock bottom.
Huh. Yeah, I guess, like you said, everyone's rock bottom is a little different.
Trials and tribulations, man. Before that, Gronk, we talked about him extensively, so we'll see if he comes back in the next few years. Mm-hmm. Before that opening day, does it still hold, maybe not for you, but do you still think it holds the same... I struggle to think of the word, but it's kind of iconic, right? Like it's because it's a seasonal change.
Yeah,
and it kind of brings in
exactly. For me, I'm not a huge baseball fan. I'm not. I wouldn't even say I am a baseball fan. But for me, the most exciting thing about opening day is spring. Spring's here. Summer's here.
This kind of seems like something our brother Mike would be bringing, like Daniel and Joey to. Is he not into that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if they went this year. I know that they've
gone in the past.
Yeah, they go to a decent amount of games.
I mean, it's an event. I mean, if you're nearby a city that's having an opening day, it is an event. Like it's a big downtown festival.
Especially with the Phillies.
Yeah,
with Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper making his. He got a standing ovation last night for his
home
first
run last
home
night.
run.
Yeah.
450 feet, a standing ovation, and then came out for a curtain call after his first home run.
That.
Knowing Philadelphia, in 3 weeks they'll be leaving hate signs on his front.
Oh yeah, they'll throw batteries at him. And then he will inevitably get caught for using performance-enhancing drugs.
They care very, very much about their athletes in Boston. Before that, Dumbo, Steve, made $45 million. Now, this is part of the Disney, what seems like they're doing. They're going to make everything live action now. All their famous cartoons, they're going to make live action. The Jungle Book was a massive success. Now, Dumbo is the second incarnation. What's the next one coming out? Aladdin coming out this summer. That is getting kind of head scratching.
Oh, because who's in that?
Now Will Smith's the genie.
That's right. Yes,
and I believe the rest of the cast is mostly unknown. But now next year, The Lion King. But that's the real big debate about still calling it live action because there's no human characters in The Lion King.
Okay,
and yet they're still calling it live action. So made $45 million this weekend. Don't know, but. Where do you rank Dumbo among the saddest of the Disney? Because you've got your Bambi.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the plot of Dumbo.
Well, it's a flying elephant stuck in a circus who wants to be free.
Okay. No, not as sad as Bambi.
Bambi's very sad.
Yeah, Bambi, freaking death, man.
Lion King?
Lion King, yeah.
There's the sad scene in The Lion King, but for the most of the movie, it's about...
When was the last time we debated Lion King?
If we had time today, Steve, I would absolutely get into that. It's a worthwhile argument.
I mean, was it Scar or was it the wildebeest?
It's a worthwhile argument to have. I stand by it. We'll talk about it another day.
Okay.
But yeah, $45 million seems to be... it's kind of under what they expected, but I don't know that Dumbo held the same regard for a lot of kids as The Jungle Book, Lion King, Aladdin.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I remember hearing that they were doing a Dumbo movie and thinking like, oh, that's not one of the ones that I would think would be up there.
Yeah, but listen, Disney's the smartest company in the world. I honestly can't think of a second place. Maybe Apple. But Disney has somehow reinvented movies from the 90s, cartoons and 80s, and made them into multi-million-dollar successes in the 2010s. That's insane. That's
good for them.
They're steps ahead of what we could ever hope for, Steve. And lastly, the biggest week of the wrestling season coming up 1 week from today, Steve. WrestleMania. Oh, my goodness. This is in New York, Steve. Outdoors first week in April. Now,
Outdoors.
you've got Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. Is Brock Lesnar on his way out the door, back to the UFC? It's been talked about for about a year. Nobody really knows. The triple threat match, though, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey. Does Ronda Rousey stick around? A lot of talk about her having some heat backstage. She's breaking kayfabe, Steve. Now, what a lot of people don't know is kayfabe is the terminology used for wrestling world. You want to keep the wrestling world how it's fake. Keep your storyline going. Ronda Rousey calling wrestling fake seems to have some heat. Charlotte Flair,
What's your time for 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
championship, Steve. That's the biggest match tonight.
Whoa. You do not talk past the music.
Apologize.
You respect the Fast Five.
Man. Whew. All riled up.
Okay.
Dumbo only 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. Not great reviews. That probably didn't help.
Number 1, MLB opening day.
Oh, my gosh. Don't care. It's different when the team I follow, the Detroit Tigers, are very, very bad, and they're going to be very, very bad this year and probably next year. It changes things. Like, if there's no hope, I'm sorry. I'm not tuning in. I'm definitely not going there to watch, AAA minor leaguers who are moonlighting as major leaguers.
All right, next, the Michigan State Steves.
Oh, my goodness. I'm nervous. Now, by the time this is released, everybody will already know who is in the Final Four with the Elite Eight matchup between Michigan State and Duke, who was the one team I didn't want to play as a Michigan State Spartan fan, is tonight, Steve. The nerves are high.
So, how are they going to do? How are Izzo and the boys going to handle Krzyzewski and Zion?
Oh, that's 1-800-SPORTS, Tate.
Some call him Coach K.
Michigan State 75, Duke 71.
Really?
I think they're going to win. I think Michigan State, they run a half-court offense, Steve.
Yeah,
Duke struggles with that. Duke also struggles with scoring. They don't have any legitimate
Number 3,
score.
WrestleMania predictions.
Oh,
Number 4.
Wait a minute.
We'll get it on the turnaround. Number 4, Jesse Smollett.
I don't even know what's going on. They dropped the charges. He's suing. Did he do it? Did he not? I know everybody's mad at him again.
Yeah, I don't understand why they dropped the charges.
I don't either.
Then, the city attorney and then the police chief are pissed that the charges were dropped. Then why'd you drop them? What's going on?
Like, did he do it? It seems like he did it, right? Mm-hmm. See, there's no investigation into him being attacked. He did it, so maybe they're dropping the criminal charges, which they probably shouldn't have, and are going to pursue legal avenue. I don't know, or like civil, like money to, because they want reimbursement for the overtime that was paid to officers investigating this. So they're suing him for $100,000.
Okay, yeah, it sure seems like he did it, and
I don't get it, man. Why is Chicago? It has to be Chicago, which is already like people are. Isn't that like the most corrupt? Town. Like, doesn't this feel weird?
Yeah.
So,
and finally on the list, Bryce Harper. $330-some million for the next, like, 10 years.
For 12 years.
12 years.
12 or 13 years. You know what? I think he's a fine player. Hopefully he plays a little better than what he did. But he's the new icon of Philadelphia sports, right? Currently you have, what, Kyrie Irving for the Celtics? Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz, for crying out loud, half the fan base wanted him gone in favor of Nick Foles this offseason.
Yeah.
You would argue that Bryce Harper right now is the biggest star in Philadelphia going forward.
I would say so. Yeah, home run yesterday in his second game, I guess.
Yeah. He's a good player in that field. He has massive amounts of success. He's probably going to hit 40 home runs this year.
Before that, Jussie Smollett, guilty, innocent?
Who knows, man?
Court of public opinion seems like to think he's guilty.
Yeah, I've kind of turned on that case like I have the whole Mueller thing. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know. Tell me when something's definitive, or I can read a paper that says what happened in simple terms that makes sense, and this isn't that.
All right, in 3 words or less, WrestleMania predictions.
Lynch, Rollins. I don't even know the biggest matchup. Yeah.
Is it King Kong Bundy?
Yeah, coming back. Kofi.
All right.
Kofi Mania. Hashtag Kofi Mania. Big WrestleMania, man. I cannot wait. It's the biggest Sunday weekend in all of wrestling, Steve, and I will be going.
Fast Five. What's your time for 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
The rare mid-Fast Five appearance by the Fast Five intro song. Before that, we had the Michigan State Steves.
Oh, my
team,
gosh.
Your team.
A first-round scare against the Bradley Braves. Barely beat
you were
the number,
sweating it a bit, right?
I was, yeah. That's a number 15 seed. But absolute destruction the last two matchups against Minnesota and then LSU on their way to play Duke here in the Elite Eight. So they have been playing as the best basketball I've seen them play in quite some time. So I am optimistic about their chances against Duke, but that's also a team, Duke, that has escaped absurd games that they should have lost. Now, two nights out of their last two games, they probably should have lost. One, they got bailed out by the refs, and two, they got bailed out by some poor shot selection.
And MLB opening day before that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's an event because the season's changed, so it'll always be that way. But I think there's a generational gap with MLB, and I think in years you're going to start seeing issues with opening day that attendance is still down because it's on a Thursday afternoon.
Right.
Not as many young people want to take days off of work to go to see a baseball game that they don't even care about.
Not at all. Boy, it was a big week here on the program.
Oh. Well, again, I did not get enough time. The billboard is Saturday. Come see us, Van Wert, Ohio. Respond to the Facebook event. It's posted there right now.
I'm looking forward to that. Really am. We're hitting the road, around 8:30, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, we'll be there a little after 12. Figure if everybody wants to be there at 1, we'll hang out for a little bit, go have some drinks down at D's on Main Street, and we'll all be on our way. I can't wait to see everybody.
Yeah, we are definitely not welcome at D's, but we're going to be there regardless.
Yeah, D's has made it clear that they do not want us there, but we're doing it. Woo!
All right, you can go to the Facebook page, Twitter page, and vote on all of the, it's the Steve 16. We're down to the Steve 16,
Steve 16 this week. Yeah, absolutely.
So you can follow us on Twitter at Steve and Kyle, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. You can download, subscribe, and review the show on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Libsyn, Spotify. Also follow us on Instagram at Steve and Kyle. Thank you, by the way, to everybody who came out to the Side Gigs live show in Wilkes-Barre, PA. On Friday morning. A lot of people with Steve and Kyle merch. Bunch of people.
Was that Nathaniel Rich? Was that who I saw?
I forget who you saw.
The Steve and Kyle shirt?
Yes, yeah. I believe it was.
The door sign sponsor for us.
Yes. And definitely got a lot of, hey, who are those other idiots up there and where's Kyle?
Yeah. That's what we're talking. Keep infiltrating. I love to hear it. I love to see it. Love those pictures every Friday when I forget what your radio show is doing, and then I can see that we still have a presence there.
All right, so we will hopefully see you on Saturday at the Billboard in Van Wert.
See you there. Our faces are on a billboard.
Talk to you next week.
Since you're new to H&R Block, we'll look at your returns from the last 3 years for any money your last guy might have missed, for free.
I could get money back from last year?
You could. We'll find any mistakes.
Could have really used that 2 years ago when I dated that mistake for 5 months.
Don't leave money on the table. Switch to H&R Block and get a free Second Look review. Second Look is included at no additional cost with the purchase of tax preparation. Results vary. All tax situations are different. Fees apply if you have us file an amended return.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host, you seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience and their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's Libsyn, ads.com today.